Estamos de volta aqui ao Tenchi Conference 2025 e agora com um convidado muito especial e internacional. Dave Lewis, welcome to our conversation. It's been a big responsibility to talk with you because you are an amazing professional, CXO advisor, and a podcaster. No? Be welcome.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Yes, and tell me from your perspective what it means third-party cyber risk management.
So this has been something that's been near and dear to my heart for a very long time. Like when I was growing up, both of my grandparents were involved in World War II, and they were doing it from the perspective of one was a merchant marine moving things from Canada across to the UK, and my other grandfather was protecting those convoys. So the idea of supply chain and all that sort of thing, and third-party risk, obviously being U-boats at the time, was something that was really early on affected me from a thought process. And then as I've progressed through my career, I've been doing cybersecurity about 31 years now.
31 years around.
Yeah, and as a result of that, it's like I have always focused on security issues from a third-party perspective because it's a clear and present danger for any organization that if it's not being managed accordingly, that bad things can and will happen.
And for us to know a little bit more about you, what we are doing right now and some hobbies that we shared during the presentation.
Fair enough. Yeah, I am a global advisory CISO at 1Password, and our team is called Special Operations Engagements, where we go around giving talks at various events. We do a lot of research. Two of my team are very dedicated to AI security, or specifically security for AI. And this is one of those things from an agentic AI perspective that really concerns me because agents are becoming pervasive throughout organizations. They need credentials, they need access to APIs, they need access to systems, and the potential impact and blast radius as a result of that is not to be understated. So being able to approach that sort of thing is really key. And being a security professional, I tend to have an affinity for whiskey and things like that. So as a result, during the pandemic, one of my friends came to me and said, "Oh, do you want to invest in a whiskey distillery?" And I know that's a bit of a stretch there, but it happened, and I'm now co-owner of a whiskey distillery in Victoria, British Columbia in Canada.
Nice.
And it's just one of my many hobbies.
And what about the soccer team?
Yes, well, that was another one that came up that was actually based in Vancouver. And the reason I got into this was at the time, I had done many years ago an article for Forbes about Bitcoin and things to that effect. So I had bought a little bit of each currency just to test it out, see how it worked. And I forgot about it. Yes. And years later, it grew to a significant amount. So I was able to divest that and then invest in things like the soccer club. And the main driver there was they train 800 inner city kids a year on how to play the game. And I was just like, this is funny money there. Go to a good cause. And it was really fantastic to be able to do that. Another thing that I do as a result, the same sort of vein, is when I give talks at various or conferences, they'll say, the speaker fee is here. And it's like, just donate it to charity. Not because I'm already getting paid as my day job. So being able to, spread that around to various charities has been a really fantastic piece.
No, congratulations. And thanks for 1Password for being able to protect our password, from the B2C community in the past, right now, B2B. Can you talk a little bit about your role and your daily basis on 1Password, what are you seeing in the market?
So I don't really have a daily because every day is different. And it's absolutely fantastic. So our team is basically like a quick reaction force. We do various types of things, as well as, the speaking engagements around the world. And it's just being able to, share the message as to what we're doing, but we don't talk about it from a product perspective. We talk about things that it just so happens that we're able to help fix, but we try not to say, buy the box with the blinky lights, because that I've sat through those talks and nobody wants to see that. They want to actually talk about issues that are important to them. And we do a lot of CISO dinners and things like that, where we get, 10 CISOs in a room, we have Chatham House rule, and have a frank and open discussion about what the actual problems are that they're concerned about. And once you have Chatham House rule in place, it's amazing to see how everybody just shares. And it helps them build a sense of community with their peers in whatever city it happens to be. So it's fun to watch that grow. And I insist on them making connections with each other before they leave. And it's been really an amazing experience from that perspective.
Now, it's amazing journey. And from the podcasters, the website, the newsletter, you are driving totally the ship on cybersecurity for the market. How you are seeing the future? Because one part of the event here is shaping the future. What do you see ahead of you?
So shaping the future is one of those things that does concern me because I have to look back. Because when I started in my education, I had a degree in archaeology and classical studies.
No.
So, which may seem odd and orthogonal, but it really does apply to what I do now, because in order to know the future, you have to understand your past. And looking back at all the mistakes that we've made from a security perspective and realizing that we're repeating it. Because if you're not going to be aware of your history, you're destined to repeat those same errors again and again. And I do see that happening in that we get away from a lot of the core fundamentals from a security perspective. So for the future, I hope that we are going to get a handle on those core fundamentals of understanding, third-party risk and micro segmentation, account management, and all those sort of things. Even patching. We're still having that discussion. It's been years. Somehow we have to move forward in a way that's going to make sense. So I am cautiously optimistic we will get to that better place. And I do believe that with artificial intelligence being utilized properly,
Nice.
that will help automate and help alleviate a lot of the stresses that organizations have with having limited resources and things of that effect. And I see it as a force multiplier when used correctly. Organizations that divest themselves of staff because AI is going to magically sprinkle fairy dust on everything and everything will be fine are doing themselves a disservice. And I've seen organizations that have had these layoffs and said, we made a mistake. And they're falling on their sword and they're correcting course. And that gives me hope that, the human element has not been forgotten entirely. So I do see the pendulum coming back the other way. And then once you have all those humans on staff and being able to be the human in the loop for AI systems,
Nice.
that we are going to have artificial intelligence systems that are going to be powerful in the best way possible.
No, really good. And before we finish, can you please tell us a little bit about your presentation and how you were able to put samba in the title of your presentation?
It was really funny because at the last minute, I thought about pulling it out because I thought I was being a little too silly. But the idea was it's trying to find an acronym that would resonate with people, because anytime I give a presentation, I want it to be something that is going to land for the individual. Like I've done, or rather read studies on humor being part of the equation, that people have an 80% higher retention rate on the information they share if you have a little bit of humor in there. And so being in Sao Paulo, being able to be here in this amazing event, being able to have something that I can leave.
And being here for the first time.
For the first time, yes.
Wow.
I've never been here before. Thank you so much for having me. And having something that'll stick with them, something that is regional. So wherever I go in the world, anytime I give a talk, I'll integrate regional bits into the talk. And admittedly, the samba part, I almost pulled out, but I've heard from a few people now that were very happy that I did that. So it was just an acronym that would help, get people to understand how to approach, security and third-party risk in their organizations.
And can you talk a little bit about this approach?
This approach is really getting down to the basics, right? I was understanding, the monitoring, automation, all the rest of it. And basics, lather, rinse, repeat of the core fundamentals that we should be doing. And then you apply that with the artificial intelligence overlay. We have to understand that if we're not doing the core fundamentals correctly, this will get away from us very quickly. And it'll manifest in ways that we may not have expected, especially from an agentic AI perspective, where these agents are making autonomous decisions on our behalf based on the input from humans. So if we're not giving them the correct input, they may end up giving us results that we did not anticipate.
No, that's perfect. Thanks for your time. Thanks for being here in Brazil in Tenchi Conference 2025. And thanks for sharing all your knowledge and with the community and with Brazilian people. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure.
Então, terminamos aqui mais um bate-papo no Tenchi Conference 2025. Um convidado internacional. Sigam ele nas redes sociais, ouçam os podcasts, que eu fiquei impressionado com a qualidade do conteúdo e a maneira dele se comunicar. Até a próxima conversa.